Hi guys, my name is Lebogang Ramathibela. I am a Miss Teen Universe South Africa finalist for 2024 and I am on the KJ Real Talk podcast.
Welcome back to another podcast with KG. I'm joined by Lebogang, 17-year-old, a fashion model, pigeon model, event host, and founder of Lebogang Foundation. How are you doing, girl?
I'm good, thanks, and how are you?
I'm good. Who is Lebogang in general?
So I am Lebogang Ramathibela, 17 years old. I am a pageant model, fashion model, and I am the founder of Lebogang Foundation. And I'm also an event host.
That's cool. Tell me about your journey before. Let me just break it down to me what it feels like to be a finalist
Of Miss Teen Universe South Africa. It was a very long journey. My journey actually started last year, December, when I auditioned to become a semi-finalist. So we had to record videos, basically introducing ourselves, what is our advocacy and all of that. And that's what I did. And then early March, I got a notification that I made it as a semi-finalist and I was so happy. So that's when the journey actually started. That's where the hard work had to start to prove myself to the judges so that I can become a finalist. So from March to July was the period of time that we had to prove ourselves, and it was not easy because obviously we're competing. It's a competition.
There's a lot of people.
There's like 300 girls who are fighting to become a finalist. So there was a lot of us, and it's the whole of South Africa. So you can imagine. So we had to prove ourselves, do community work. Well, it kind of depends on your advocacy. Because my advocacy is change in the community, I do community work a lot. So I was doing community work, I hosted events, it was very nice. And then I became a finalist in July.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do they give you a specific advocate, or you just what you like?
No. Every girl has their own advocacy, because obviously if they gave us advocacies, it would be like, that's not what you want to do. So obviously you must have a purpose of what you actually want to do. And it also correlates to when you actually get the crown. That, okay, my advocacy is this. So even when I get the crown, this and this is what I'm going to do, and this.
What does it take for you to actually be a finalist, or what does it take for you to actually be nominated or anyway?
Just hard work, I guess. Well, from the minute I became a semi-finalist, it's a thing of I had to do what I do just to prove yourself to the judges, because my advocacy, like I said, is changing the community. I did community work a lot. And from then, when the judges were selecting, they were like, okay, this one, this one, and that's how we make it.
Tell me about your non-profit organization.
My non-profit organization, Lebogang Foundation. So I started my non-profit organization when I was 15, back in 2021.
Already?
Yes.
We always think that people that are young, you cannot.
No ways. I started when I was 15, back in 2021, in October. And I didn't just start it. Before that, I had a life coach. Her name was Kolega. And we used to, our contract was a 6-month contract. So during that period of time, obviously no life coaches. It's more of like a therapist, but also a life coach at the same time. I actually, for my mom to actually get me a life coach, I was actually struggling mentally. I feel like it's because of like the changes and all of that, because I was in grade 9 going to grade 10. So a lot of things were changing. Subjects were changing.
Pressure is coming.
Like a lot of things were changing. So it was kind of too much on me. So my mom was like, okay, you know what, let me just get her a life coach. And she did. And we used to have sessions. And obviously no one knew me better than her, because obviously she was more of like a therapist. I used to tell her everything, all of that. And she was like, why don't you start a non-profit organization? And I was like, She was like, yes, because of your personality and how much you care for people and all of that.
I see your videos on Instagram.
Mostly young children. I feel like if I could, I'd make my non-profit organization based on young children only. But because I care for the community as a whole, I do everything for the community. I can't just make it based on young children, because even some of the work that I've done, it wasn't mainly on young children only, you know. So she was like, why don't you start a non-profit organization? And then she took me on the steps, because you can't just start a non-profit organization. Like, can't wake up one day and be like, I want to start a non-profit organization. You know, it must have a vision, a mission, obviously the name, and you know where you want it to go and all of that. So she took me on those steps, and I started my non-profit organization. The vision is to spread kindness in the community, and then the mission is to do so by donating, doing fundraisings, just giving back in general. So
I think that's the reason why we got you on the podcast. Honestly, because I think what does it take? I mean, you have being a finalist, right? How are you getting the support from your surroundings, your circles, and stuff like that?
So I think it's with the things that I do. I mean, I'm in fashion shows, also media appearances and things like that. So people support me through that. But I think mostly it's because of my non-profit organization. You know, when people see me do the things I do, they're like, wow.
Impressive.
Yeah, they're like, it impresses them. And then they're like, you know, they want to know more about my journeys and all of that. So But, however, I started my non-profit organization before I started modeling. Yeah, it wasn't after, because you know most people, when they model now, they want to start the non-profit organization.
It's like that.
I started mine way before I started modeling, because I started in 2021, and then my journey as Miss Teen East Rand started mid 2022, early mid 2022.
What are some of the challenges that you've faced in the industry, or before you even got to the industry?
With modeling or my non-profit organization?
With both, actually.
Okay. With my non-profit organization, I can't really say I faced challenges with it, hey? Yeah, because, obviously I can't do everything. Because, like, I remember I once told my mom, I was like, so there's this other dirty place in Germiston, it's really dirty. I told my mom, I was like, I want to clean this place. And she was like, with who? I was like, I can do it myself. She's like, there's no ways you're going to clean that place yourself. It's going to take you days, because like it's really dirty. So, you know, those are the type of challenges that I come through, you know, that like I can't do everything myself. I have to have people to help me. And obviously my parents are always working. So even if they wanted to help me, they can't, you know. And then with the modeling industry, when I first started, I used to be in an agency, I remember. I was still new in the industry. So girls who have been in the industry, with agencies, most of the time, they are the ones who always book the jobs. Always, because like they have been in it. And with us who are new, like we don't know anything. You don't even get the training or anything. It's like, why does she always get it and I don't? You know, so it's just like, those are the type of challenges that I used to come through. But then when I started actually knowing my purpose, like where I actually fit in, which is in pageantry, that's when things started becoming easier, because I mean, I love it, and that's where I actually feel like I truly fit in.
Tell me about Miss and Mr. Miss and Miss First Flores. Just tell me about it, like your journey, like from being Miss and Miss First Flores.
No, I was the Miss East Rand. Miss Teen East Rand.
Oh no!
I hosted Miss and Miss First Flores. Should I tell you about that?
Yeah, sure.
So, at my school, back in 2022, last year, there was a pageant, Mr. and Miss Royal Schools. So I became an MC for the pageant. I actually had to audition for that as well. And it was my first time, but I actually did it with the help of my friends from school as well. And then I got in, and then I hosted the event. It was my first time, but obviously I'm a confident person, so I'm never scared of eyes anyway.
Yeah.
So I did my thing in front of the school and all the teachers and everything. And then after the event, I actually got a lot of compliments. People telling me that, you did such a great job for your first time and all of that. Yeah. I was like, really? And then afterwards, that's when I started. I was like, okay, maybe I'm going somewhere here. And then I got booked to host Mr. and Miss Forster's last year, December.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then I went there, I did my thing as well. It was very nice. It was a very cool experience.
Yeah.
Also, the experience that I got was a lot because it was outside of school. So, yeah, I hosted it and then it went very good. And then this year, I hosted my first national pageant because obviously those two were like local pageants.
Okay.
So I hosted Mr. Youth National South Africa. And that was like my first big pageant that I was hosting. Yeah. So it was kind of, at first I was like, you know what? I know that God will make me do something that he thinks I'm not capable of. So I was like, let me just do it. And it went so good. Yeah. It went amazing. So yeah, that's how my journey as a host began. All started at school, really. Yeah. I can't say that I had a passion for it. I didn't really have a passion for it. But then as time went by, I started loving it because obviously when you're good at something, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, for
sure.
So
yeah.
Talk about fashion. She's looking amazing.
Thank you.
Talk about fashion, Ekasi. Just tell me about it.
Ekasi Fashion Week is like SA Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it focuses more on Ekasi. So mostly
as in local brands and
local
stuff.
Brands, okay. Yes, local designers. And the fashion shows they are done in taxi ranks to break the stigma that taxi ranks are always violent and all of that. So basically we want to show people that you can model in a taxi rank and people can sit down and watch and enjoy without being violent. Yeah. So that is the whole purpose behind it, to break that stigma that, oh no, South Africans are always violent, the taxi ranks, people always shooting each other. Yeah. So that was the whole purpose of it. And it's actually getting very big because we have international people, international agents coming to watch and all of that. So early this year, I went to go audition to be in one of their fashion shows, and it was the first time. Ekasi Fashion Week actually sponsors Miss Teen East Rand, so that's how I knew them. That's how I knew them. And then I made it in, and then as time went by, I guess with all my hard work, because we started joining other fashion shows as well. Yeah. And then I became the face of Ekasi Fashion Week.
Wow. Yeah.
Through one of the fashion shows that I modeled with, and then. Yeah, the director was like, that one.
She's the one.
She's the one. So yeah, I became the face of Ekasi Fashion Week, and it was a lovely experience. Unfortunately, with fashion shows, it doesn't last as long as pageants. Okay. So you don't become the face for a long time. Yeah. So I'm no more the face now.
Do you feel like
it was a good experience?
Do you feel like it's easy to be replaced?
No, not with me. Definitely not.
Yeah.
I remember this one time, there's one show that I couldn't attend, and I kept on getting calls like, where are you? You need to come. And I'm like, I can't come. And there's this other time when I called the director, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't come. And he's like, I know he didn't mean it. He's like, you always disappoint me. It's like, yo, I'm so sorry. Yeah. But then, it's not easy to replace me. Definitely not.
What are you unapologetic about? I see the confidence. What are you unapologetic about?
Me being me in general. Because I know how much it took for me to get to where I am. Yeah. So me being me in general. Yeah.
What inspired you to actually do everything that you're doing right now?
I don't know, hey. So growing up, I always wanted to be a fashion designer. As a young child, and one thing about me, if I want to do something, I stand on that. Like even when there was these presentations at school and other children used to be like, I want to be a doctor, and then this one comes up and is like, I want to be a scientist, and then I come up and I'm like, I want to be a fashion designer, and people just look at me like, what? Like nothing would bring me down. Like even if you wanted to be a doctor and you wanted to be a scientist, the fact that I want to be a fashion designer, that's what I want to do, So growing up, I always wanted to be a fashion designer until I actually started realizing that it's not fashion design that I wanted to do. I always used to be interested in the models because I remember when my aunt made me join my First pageant. I don't really consider it my first pageant, but okay. I was 8 years old. It was Mr. and Miss Garden. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was hosted by builders. So we had to arrive in like garden clothes, like we were actually like gardeners and all of that. And I arrived in a princess skirt.
Girl.
I arrived in a dress and makeup and my hair was dyed and nails, everything. And other kids were just there like, because people were looking like gardeners and they were wearing gloves and everything. Even the judges are like, okay.
She's different.
And I got disqualified for not following the theme.
Oh no.
It was that bad because even the dress was like foo.
Yeah.
And then other kids are there in like tracksuits and boots and everyone is just there like,
what's going on?
It was bad.
Yeah.
So from there, going forward, I started being interested in modeling a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like it was also another thing of why didn't I get to like become like the other kids and all of that. So I was kind of like angry. So it was that thing like to fulfill that gap. Like I have to start modeling again.
Yeah.
And that's when I joined Miss Teen East Jan 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
How has challenges contribute to your personal growth and strengthen your commitment to your advocates?
The challenges, how did they strengthen me?
Yeah.
They taught me to never give up. Because especially in the industry that I'm at, you know, like there's a lot of things that can bring you down.
Yeah.
So it taught me to never give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Community engagement and impact. How do you feel about it?
I feel good because it's my advocacy. So every time I give back to the community, I feel very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Empowerment and representation.
Okay, so talking about that, this year I actually started my first campaign, Girls Unite. So Girls Unite focuses on discussing issues that young girls go through. And actually Girls Unite is only done during the month of August in order to celebrate girls and women. So it is done in Women's Month. So yeah, I hosted different queens. I know you know our Miss Gauteng. I hosted her as well. Miss Teenager South Africa. I hosted a lot of queens actually that I got to discuss the issues with, and we got a lot of engagement. And I actually started realizing that actually a lot of girls actually do go through certain issues. It's just that they keep it inside. So I created that safe space that it's okay, you can talk, you know, we're here for you, and we discussed those issues together. And yeah, it went very well. I can't wait to do it again. Hopefully in the future it cannot be through social media. I can actually like host an actual event when people can come. So yeah, I'm hoping for that soon.
Do you ever vision yourself to be working with this big brand, your Louis Vuitton, your Gucci? Do you picture yourself with that?
I don't think so, because I'm more of like a pageant queen. I picture myself competing in big pageants. But like working with brands like that, not really, because I'm not really more of like a high fashion model. What
are your future goals in the pageant industry right now?
To enter really big pageants. I can't say which ones because I don't know God's plan. And there's like a lot of big pageants out there. And obviously I can't just start off by entering a big pageant. There's like, I have to start by entering small pageants in order for me to get to the big pageant, you know, in order to grow. The growth is very important too. So to enter very big pageants in the future, hopefully.
How do you hope to leave a lasting legacy or impact within the community and in the pageant industry?
I hope for when people hear my name, they're like, wow, she really had an impact in her community and she actually made a change. Because I focus mainly on change. So I'm hoping for people to remember me for actually leaving a footprint and actually being like, wow, she actually made a change in her community and in the pageant industry as well. So yeah.
All right. This is amazing. The queen and herself, the fashion and everything, the conversation was amazing, I won't lie. Where can people catch you on social media if they want to follow you, they feel inspired by your work, you know?
On Instagram, they can catch me on Lebogang with an underscore in between each letter. So L_E, like that. And then if you're looking for my non-profit organization page, if maybe you want to collaborate and do some community work together, they can catch me on Lebogang Foundation. So it's Lebogang_Foundation. And yeah, I'm on TikTok as well, but that's just for entertainment purposes. So that's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming on the Safe Space.
Thank you for also having me.
Yeah, it was amazing.
She's
looking amazing.
Thank you.
Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you stay tuned for another episode. It's a Safe Space. See y'all.
Again, sorry. I'm a Teen Universe South Africa finalist for 2024, and I am on the KJ Real Talk podcast.